Hi, welcome to the second lecture of the chapter Free Radicals. In today's lecture, we are going to study the point stability of free radicals. Now see, as with carbocations, the stability order of free radicals is tertiary is greater than secondary is greater than primary. Okay, so we know that in case of carbocation, we have studied that tertiary carbocation is more stable than the secondary carbocation and it is more stable than the primary carbocation. Similar to this, in case of free radicals also, the tertiary free radical is more stable than secondary and is more stable than primary, and it is explainable by the hyperconjugation. Okay, analogous to that in carbocations. Now see how. In this example, how hyperconjugation takes place. See here, we can shift that electron to this side. Okay, this bond CH undergo cleavage. One electron is used to form the bond and hydrogen take one electron and escape as H radical. Okay, then in next step, see that radical H radical form bond with carbon and this another hydrogen take radical with it, so we get this structure. So this is the hyperconjugation possible in case of a alkyl radical. Okay, then now see, with resonance possibilities, the stability of free radicals increases. Okay, if there is a more possibility of resonance, then the stability of free radical is also more. Some can be kept indefinitely. Benzylic and allylic radicals, for which canonical forms can be drawn similar to those shown for the corresponding cations and anions, are more stable than simple alkyl radicals, but still have only a transient existence under ordinary conditions. Okay, now what is this? They have said that the benzylic and allylic radicals are more stable than the simple alkyl radicals. Now see how. See, in this example, this is benzylic radical and this is allylic radical. So when we consider the benzylic radical, in this case, we can draw the canonical form as like this. Okay. A radical double bond CH2. There is a resonance stabilization. Now this is allylic radical. In this case also there is a resonance stabilization, and this is the alkyl radical. Okay, this is allylic radical and this is benzyl radical. So the benzyl radical and the allylic radicals are more stable than the alkyl radicals. Okay, now see, but still have only a transient existence under ordinary conditions. So the existence of that benzylic and allylic radical, it is transient. However, the triphenylmethyl and similar radicals are stable enough to exist in solution at room temperature, though in equilibrium with a dimeric form. So the triphenylmethyl radical and similar radicals to triphenylmethyl, they are stable. Okay, therefore they can exist in solution at room temperature. though in equilibrium with a dimeric form. So in that solution, they exist along with their dimeric form. They are in equilibrium with their dimeric form. The concentration of triphenyl methyl radical in benzene solution is about 2% at room temperature. Okay, in that solution, the concentration of that triphenyl methyl radical, it is about 2%. Now, for many years, it was assumed that triphenyl methyl radical, the first stable free radical known, dimerized to hexaphenyl ethane, that is PH3C, CPH3, but UV and NMR investigations have shown that the true structure is 16. So this is the true structure. Actually, it is not dimerized as like this. Although triphenyl methyl type radicals are stabilized by resonance. So if we see the stabilization of that triphenyl methyl radical, look in this example, this is triphenyl methyl radical, and if we see its resonance stabilization, see how it is stabilized. In this case, that electron is delocalized as like this. Okay, there is a formation of double bond and the electron on this carbon. So we get this structure. Second, that this electron get delocalized. Okay, now the electron is on this carbon atom. So we get this structure. So etc. We can draw such a canonical structures for that triphenyl methyl radical. Now it is the steric hindrance to dimerization and not resonance that is the major cause of their stability. Now why that triphenyl methyl radical is stable? It is due to the steric hindrance to dimerization. So it has stability due to the steric hindrance and not due to the resonance. This sentence is important. It is steric hindrance to dimerization and not resonance that is the major cause of their stability. This was demonstrated by the preparation of the radical 17 and 18. So this is the the radical 17 and this is the radical 18. See here there is a radical and here there is also a radical. Now we have to study the difference between these two radicals. So in this case, these radicals are electronically very similar. Okay, but 17 being planar has much less steric hindrance to dimerization than triphenyl methyl radical. Okay, so when we see the structure of 17, look at these structures very carefully. The structure 17, it is planar, and if we consider the structure 18, it is not planar. Okay, let us first consider the structure 17. In this case, there is a planarity. So due to that planarity, there is a much less steric hindrance to dimerization than triphenyl methyl radical. So the structure 17 can easily undergo dimerization. Okay. Now what is about 18? See, 18, it has 6 groups in ortho positions. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups are in ortho positions, has much more steric hindrance to dimerization. So due to this ortho substituents, it cannot go on, it cannot undergo dimerization. Okay, it cannot undergo dimerization. On the other hand, the planarity of 17 means that it has a maximum amount of resonance stabilization. So as it is planar, it has maximum amount of resonance stabilization, while in case of 18, it have much less, since its degree of planarity should be even less than triphenyl methyl radical, which itself is propeller shaped and not planar. Thus, if resonance is the chief cause of the stability of triphenyl methyl radical, 18 should dimerize and 17 should not. But if steric hindrance is the major cause, the reverse should happen. So in this event, it was found that 18 gave no evidence of dimerization. So that 18, it had not given any evidence of dimerization even in the solid state, while 17 existed primarily in the dimeric form, okay, which is dissociated to only a small extent in solution, indicating that steric hindrance to dimerization is the major cause for the stability of triaryl methyl radicals. So this statement is important. Steric hindrance to dimerization is the major cause for the stability of triaryl methyl radicals. So why triaryl methyl radicals are stable? They are stable due to the steric hindrance and not due to the resonance stabilization. Okay, why triaryl methyl radicals are stable? That stability is due to the steric hindrance and not due to the resonance stabilization. Okay, I think the point is clear. Now, it has been postulated that the stability of free radicals is enhanced by the presence at the radical center of both an electron donating and an electron withdrawing group. This is called the push-pull or captodictive effect, and the effect arises from increased resonance. So what is push-pull effect or what is captodictive effect? There is a presence of both an electron donating and an electron withdrawing group at the radical center. Now see, in this case, this is the radical center, this is electron withdrawing group, this is electron donating group. So both groups are present at the radical center. So the effect in this case is called as the push-pull or the captodictive effect, and it increases the stability of free radicals. Now see how. For example, in this case, see, if we look at the first structure, nitrogen has lone pair. If that nitrogen give one electron to that carbon atom, so there is a negative charge on the carbon atom and plus charge on the nitrogen. Now, if see, if we delocalize this negative charge so that the nitrogen will get negative charge. Okay, so we get this structure. Now, in second case, if we give one electron from this nitrogen to this nitrogen, okay, there is a complete lone pair, and that nitrogen has only one electron, okay, therefore it is n radical. Now next, what we have to do, see, we have to do that this carbon-carbon double bond, one bond undergo cleavage, so that carbon will get one electron. Then one electron is used for the formation of double bond at this side, and the nitrogen will give one electron. So there is a formation of double bond. So there remains a positive charge on the nitrogen. Okay, so this is the push-pull or captodictive effect. It is shown by when there is the presence of electron donating group and electron withdrawing group at the radical center. Now, and it increases or enhances the stability of free radical. There is some evidence in favor of the captodictive effect, some of it from ESR studies. However, there is also experimental and theoretical evidence against it. There is evidence that while FCH2 radical and F2CH radical are more stable than CH3 radical, the radical CF3 radical is less stable. That is, the presence of the third fluorine destabilizes the radical. Okay. Now next. Certain radicals with the unpaired electron not on a carbon are also very stable. So in this case, we are going to see the presence of unpaired electron on the another atom than carbon. So the certain radicals with the unpaired electron not on a carbon are also very stable. Diphenylpicryl hydrazine is a solid that can be kept for years. We have already mentioned nitroxide radical. So the 19 is a nitroxide radical so stable that reactions can be performed on it. So see the structure of diphenylpicryl hydrazine. This is diphenylpicryl hydrazine. The unpaired electron is on nitrogen. Okay. Now the 19, it is a nitroxide radical. It is so stable that we can perform reaction on it. Now see, if we react ethyl magnesium bromide with it, so that reaction, nucleophilic attack, will take place on this electrophilic center, but that radical remain as it is. Okay, so the nitroxide radical is so stable that reactions can be performed on it without affecting the unpaired electron. The same is true for some of the fluorinated triaryl methyl radicals mentioned above. Now, next important point is dissociation energies. We call it as D values of RH bonds or carbon hydrogen bonds provide a measure of the relative inherent stability of free radicals are. The table lists such values. The higher the D value, the less stable the radical. Again, we have to remember this statement. The higher the D value, the less stable the radical. Now see how. See here R, that is the radicals are given, and D values in kilocalorie per mole and kilojoule per mole are given. Now see, if the D value is higher, less stable is the radical. So pH radical having D value 464, it is the least stable. And if we see this allylic radical CH2 double bond CH, CH2 radical, it has least D value, so it is more stable. In case of competitive examinations, the question is always asked, the radicals are given, and we have to arrange that radicals according to their increasing stability or the decreasing stability. So this table is important for that questions. Again, we have to remember the statement that if D value is higher, the less stable is the radical, and vice versa. Now, evidence from studies on bridgehead compounds shows that though a planar configuration is more stable, pyramidal structures are not impossible. Okay, we have studied that planar configurations are more stable, but it does not mean that the pyramidal structures are not impossible. Pyramidal structures are also possible. In contrast to the situation with carbocations, free radicals have often been generated at bridgeheads. So we have studied in TYBSc or in MSc first that carbocations cannot be generated at bridgeheads, but free radicals have often been generated at bridgeheads. Although studies have shown that bridgehead free radicals are less rapidly formed. Okay, they formed less rapidly than the corresponding open chain radicals. Okay, so see, for example, in this case, if we consider this bridgehead compound, on heating, it undergo that minus CO2, and there is a formation of carbocation at the bridgehead. It is a stable radical. Okay, so this is about the stability of the radical in case of bridgehead compounds. Now, in sum, the available evidence indicates that though simple alkyl free radicals prefer a planar or near planar shape, the energy difference between a planar and a pyramidal free radical is not great. However, free radicals in which the carbon is connected to atoms of high electronegativity, for example, CF3 radical, prefer a pyramidal shape. Increasing the electronegativity increases the deviation from planarity. Cyclopropyl radicals are also pyramidal. Okay, then free radicals with resonance are definitely planar. Okay, free radicals with resonance are definitely planar, though triphenyl methyl type radicals are propeller shaped. The shape of that triphenyl methyl radical, it is propeller. A number of diradicals are also called as biradicals, are known. When the unpaired electrons of a diradical are widely separated, for example, as in CH2 radical, CH2, CH2, CH2 radical. So in this case, the unpaired electrons are widely separated. Okay, the species behaves spectrally like two doublets. So whenever the unpaired electrons are widely separated, that species spectrally behave like two doublets. Now, when they are close enough for interaction or can interact through an unsaturated system, as in trimethylene methane. See, this is trimethylene methane. In this case, CH2 radical, carbon double bond CH2, CH2 radical. So, in this case, they are close enough for interaction. The two radicals are close enough for the interaction, or in this case they interact through an unsaturated system. So through this unsaturated system they interact with each other. So they have total spin numbers of +1, 0 or -1, since each electron could be either +½ or -½ spectroscopically they are called triplets. Okay, this is, in this case they are triplets, but whenever the two radicals are widely separated, in that case spectroscopically there is a two doublet. Okay, but in this case there is a triplet, since each of the three possibilities is represented among the molecules and give rise to its own spectral peak. In triplet molecules, the two unpaired electrons have the same spin. So in this case, the two electrons have the same spin. Okay, so this is all about the stability of free radicals. So in this case, we have started with that tertiary free radical is more stable than secondary free radical and is more stable than primary, and it can be explained with the help of a hyperconjugation. Okay, then we have seen that when resonance possibility increases, the stability of radical also increases. We have seen that benzyl radicals and allylic radicals, as they show canonical forms, they are more stable than the alkyl radicals. Okay, then we have seen that in case of triphenyl methyl radical, the steric hindrance is the major cause of stability and not the resonance. Then we have explained that concept with these two examples. Okay, then we have seen the push-pull or cathodic effect. Whenever there is the presence of electron donating and electron withdrawing group both at the radical center, then that effect is a push-pull or cathodic effect, and it increases the stability of free radical. Okay, then we have seen certain radicals with the unpaired electron not on a carbon are also very stable. So we have seen example of diphenylpyryl hydrazine and the nitroxide. That nitroxide even undergo reaction and that radical remain as it is without affecting the unpaired electron. Then we have seen the stable, higher the d value, less stable is the radical. Okay, then I also said that this table is important for the competitive examinations. In examination, there is a question, they give us the 4 to 5 different radicals and we have to arrange them according to their increasing stability or the decreasing stability. Then we have seen the free radical have often been generated at bridgehead also. This is not possible in case of a carbocation. Carbocation cannot be formed at bridgehead position. Okay. Then we have seen about the diradical or a biradical. Okay. So this is all about the stability of free radicals. Again, reference book is Advanced Organic Chemistry, Reactions, Mechanisms and Structures by Jerry March, 4th edition. Thank you.